the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and you're watching Untethered Live, and this is the deep end. Won't you join me as we go off the edge together into the wild blue yonder, into the great unknown, into the abyss, and see if we can't find somebody looking back. What we do here is book, chapter, verse, explanation, understanding. That's how we divide up the Word of God. We read the Bible and we explain the Bible. It's as simple as that. No Bible thumping, no all the stuff you get on regular TV. None of that here. We're just trying to learn, just trying to understand what it says, what it means. And we're growing. We're moving on up. We are now on iTunes and Spotify and Audible and Amazon Prime and anywhere else you can get downloads for podcasts. You can find us there. Just type in Untethered Live, and there we are, right up top. There's a few Untetheds, and there's a few songs called Untethered, which are live, but look for Untethered Live, all one word, and you'll find us. Anywhere. Google, Apple, you name it, we're there. Pretty soon we're going to be moving to Rumble because I just had one of my videos taken down by YouTube, which means it's proof that we're growing. It's proof that we're making waves, which is a good thing because before now, they didn't care about me. They didn't bother me because I wasn't big enough. But now, I'm big enough. And now, they have removed one of my videos. Let me read it to you. Hi, Jake Johnson. We wanted to let you know our team reviewed your content and we think it violates our misinformation policy. We know you may not have realized this was a violation of our policy, so we're not applying a strike to your channel. However, we have removed the following content. This would be Untethered Live 113. That was over 2 years ago. Titled, We the People, God Bless the Folks in D.C., January 6th, Keep Our Country Safe, Free and Red. And apparently, I said some things in that video they didn't like. I don't know how they could assume that I would assuage an election or misinform anybody because everything I say is an opinion, plainly stated in my content. But here it is. Content removal from YouTube. First time. I hope they don't look at the rest of my videos because some of them get saucy, if you know what I'm saying. Hey, April, what's happening? Hello, I'm here. How are you? I was in the middle of sending videos. Well, send ahead on. I'll take them. Whoa, says April. Yep, I got removed. Thank God it was only one video and 2 years ago. Who knows? I'm going to watch it again tonight and see if I actually said anything that could be construed posthumously as breaking any rules, because at the time, these weren't rules. Now they are. So I'm sure they've removed me because of something they've come up with recently and watched one of my videos from 2 years ago and removed it. I'm sure that's the case, but I'm going to review it tonight and see what the deal is. And if it indeed is breaking any of their new rules, then I'll leave it removed and won't contest it and just move on. But if I find that I did nothing wrong, I'm prepared to go to the mat, baby. All the way. All the way to Rumble if I have to. So y'all get busy and share this video everywhere you can. We need all the subscribers we can get. We're halfway there. We need half again as many as we've got to get over to Rumble. Hey, Kev, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Got some good stuff for you tonight. Hey, Darlene, you're here. I missed you. Glad you're here. Did you hear what I just said a minute ago? I got my first content removal from YouTube. They removed one of my videos for breaking the rules. Misinformation, as they call it. The shadow banning has begun. I'd like to introduce you all to my fish. It's a big fish. It's about this big. Da-da, da-da. For those of you just listening, there's a fish on my microphone, and it's a skeleton. Had to do something for Halloween, and I'm not big into pumpkins, so fish. Nope, this is not the one that got away. It got caught. A fish on the mic stand is worth two in the bush or some such. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome all to the Bible study. We're going to have some fun tonight. Hey, Caucasian, how's your movie going? Are you doing the thing? That's a good cup of coffee. I'm excited. No echo tonight, I presume. Everything sounding okay? I hope so. It looks good, I can see that. 3 guests watching. Yep, there they are. It's great. I wish I could watch it with you, but I got to work. I'll have to watch it later. If you're going to leave it up, I'll go back and watch it later. I could do for a good movie. Matter of fact, you and I need to do some movie nights like that. And by the way, how do you get away with that without getting a content strike? What hoops did you have to go through to be able to watch a movie? Or are you just doing it and taking it down? Inquiring minds want to know, and I want to know. I'm off YouTube. It's private, baby. Oh, okay. I got you. What we need to do is a movie night and review some movies. I got some good ones. I have seen just about everything, so I can pull up some stuff that you may not have seen before. Or maybe you have. Who knows? Either way, it sounds like fun, and I am a movie buff, so I would enjoy it. But tonight, we are in Genesis chapter 7, verse 23. That's where we're going to start tonight and pretend like we've never heard it before. I'm going to go just a couple more minutes and we'll get started. See if we can't roll right on through this. I'm kind of excited that YouTube has contacted me. I don't get a whole lot of stuff. Thank you for that. That's good information to have. I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Audible.com, Radio Republic, Cashbox, SiriusXM, anywhere they have podcasts, we're there. All over the world. We have gone worldwide, and I cannot wait to see what the dividends of that's going to be in the next couple of months coming in. I can't wait to see how the viewership is going to jump up. I'm happy about that. I can't wait to get it out there and see what I'm doing. In case you didn't know, I'm setting up a network so that I can release music also. This is actually part of my record label, Backroom Trash. And when I get through setting up this network of about 50 different places that all propagate to one location, which is my podcast, then I'm going to release songs that way. And so my album will be released just like it would be if it were on a big record label, only instead of going to the radio, it goes to the internet, which is everywhere all the time. And instead of selling albums, I'll be selling songs. So you can buy one song, or you can buy all 12, however it works. Anyway, that's what's going on. That's what I'm working on. It's exciting. It's like a whole new chapter, whole new page, flipping the page. That's awesome, Jake, says Darlene. Well, thank you, dear. I'm working on it. That's exciting. Yes, says April. I am excited. Oh, wow. That's going to be great for getting known, and bravo. Yay, awesome. Thank you, April. I'm happy about it. Just got to wait and see if it works. If I get good numbers on the podcast, then I'll know. After about maybe a year of pushing out videos every week, build a following on that, and then when I release my songs, there'll be a built-in audience, built-in people who are interested in buying the song. I might be able to make a little money that way. I won't make as much money as if, say, Curb Records released me, but I'll get 100% of the profit. I won't have to split it up with the record label and get pennies on the dollar. So I'll take less money for more of a cut. And in the end, I'll probably make more money on every record this way as opposed to the way it's always been done. I don't know if you know this or not, but quite a few artists have found themselves at the barrel end of a record label with nothing. Conway Twitty, one of the greatest songs he ever released, Hello, Darling. It's nice to see you. Remember that song? He didn't make a penny on it, not one red penny. And that was the biggest song in the country for quite a while. He never made a dime. Because the record label had him sign a contract that he didn't read all the way through. And when he released that album, they owned it. And so they recouped all the money for it. He never made nothing. And that happens more often than not. Tom Petty just about went broke fighting the record labels for that very thing. He never made anything as Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. He had to fight to win his songs, the rights to his songs back. And it took him like 10 years to do it. He finally did it, but it broke the bank doing it. But now he owns all his material. And all the material going forward, like the record Damn the Torpedoes, that was released in protest of the record label outside of their purview, and they were looking for the tapes the whole time, and he kept moving them around and hiding them in the trunks of cars and stuff so that they couldn't find the masters until he released it. And so he made all the money on that album against the wishes of the record label while he was going to court fighting them for the rights to his songs. That's pretentious, yes. That's the record business. That's one of the biggest reasons I'm not in the record business. Because the price is not what I'm willing to pay. I got pretty close. I got to the top. I was playing on stage with national acts. But then I learned something. I learned that the price was my soul, and I wasn't willing to pay it. So I backed off. That's why I'm not famous. If I was willing to pay my soul, I'd be famous. Believe that. Believe that. So now I'm just a local internet celebrity. This is the equivalent of a cable access television show in the 80s. Local cable access television show like Wayne's World or The Unknown Henson here in North Carolina. Or Dr. Paul Bearer down there in Florida. That's what I do now. Only I don't wear makeup while I'm doing it. But I'm not above it. I'm not above it. If the money's right, I'll do just about anything, except sell my soul. Can't sell my soul because it don't belong to me. It never was mine in the first place. Diego! Wow, that fish. How you like my fish? That's a dark fish. It's a dark fish. For those of you just listening, I'm moving his mouth like Jaws. Da-dum-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, that's okay. You didn't miss anything. And even if you did, we're doing it again today. So I'm glad you're here, though. We got some Genesis to get through. Let's go down, shall we? It is that time. Welcome to the Bible Read. If you got your Bibles handy, crack them open to Genesis chapter 7, verse 23. Uh-oh. I forgot to set this up, I think. Never fear. I shall set it up now. Pow. There it is. We got it. I just can't believe nowadays how much more they pay new artists today versus really loved epic music back in the day. Wow, Elvis got $35,000 when he started out. Then Jerry Lee got 40 grand. Yep. It depends on who you are, who you know, and how much you're willing to sign away. They are going to try to get you, though, in the beginning, because that's when they make all their money. All right. Chapter 7, verse 23 of Genesis, and it reads, And every living substance was destroyed which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle and the creeping things, and the fowl of heaven. And they were destroyed from the earth, and Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. Now, don't read over this line. This is kind of an interesting way of putting something. This word Noah and Noah only is referring to the house of Noah, meaning Noah, his wife, his sons, and their wives. 8 people in the name Noah there. And then there's a comma, and that they that were with him on the ark, meaning the 2 of every flesh that has the breath of life, including mankind, including the fallen angels, by the way. How do I know that there were a couple of those on the ark? Because we had a second influx after the flood, and the only way they could have done that is if they were here. And they weren't here because they were destroyed in the flood, except for the 2 that were on the ark. Because they had in them the breath of life. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. That's half a year the waters were on the earth, rising. It rose for 150 days and then began to assuage. And God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged, meaning they began to drain off into the low places. And the fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven, next page, was restrained, meaning it stopped raining. Keep in mind that the rain is not where the source of the water that covered the earth came from. It did rain for 40 days and 40 nights, but the bulk of the water came from the fountains of the deep, came from underneath the crust of the earth and came up like a fountain. So don't let people naysay you into thinking that it rained and all that water came from rain. It didn't. And the waters returned from off of the earth continually, meaning it fell into the low places to where it is today, which is the oceans. We didn't have oceans before the flood. It was one great big continent. After the flood, it was broke up into 7 continents and several oceans. And after the end of 150 days, the waters were abated. That's another 150 days. That's a year. That's 300 days, almost a year. Hello, Wayne. Welcome. What's up, my friend? Welcome to the show. And the ark rested in the 7th month on the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are people that have been to Mount Ararat, and they have said, there's no ark on Mount Ararat. The Bible's wrong. That's incorrect. The Bible never says that the ark rested on Mount Ararat. It says the mountains of Ararat, which are 7 mountains in that region that are called the mountains of Ararat. So it could be in any one of them. However, there is one particular mountain in a little town in Turkey that is named something like, in Turkish, translated to English, the place where the 8 came down from the mountain. And in the 70s, there was an earthquake that released an escarpment of rock. And what came up out of the ground can only be described as the exact dimensions of the ark. It looks like a boat. It's shaped like a boat. And it's the exact dimensions listed in the Bible of the ark. Is it the ark? I don't know. But there's a welcome center there, and they think it's the ark. They named it Noah's Ark. There's a town there named where the 8 people came down from the mountain, and there are drogue stones all over that town. What is a drogue stone? It's a big rock with a hole in it. Tie a rope around one end and throw it over the edge of your boat, and it keeps the boat steady in the water by weighing down all 4 corners. They drag or drogue the boat across the water so it doesn't flap around wildly on the waves, and they are there, and people have recognized them, and there are crosses carved into these rocks. Now, obviously, that was done at a later time by pilgrims, but those pilgrims recognized those stones for what they were, the drogue stones of the ark. So, is it the Ark of the Covenant? Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, not the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark of Noah. Your guess is as good as mine, but I'd say it's a pretty good bet. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. And in the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the tops of the mountains finally seen. Now, we're talking about newly minted mountains like Mount St. Helens and Kilimanjaro and that big mountain that everybody climbs. I can't ever remember the name of. Anyway, those big mountains were not here before the flood. The flood pushed them up. So with the Rocky Mountains and the Alps, if you'll notice, those mountain ranges follow coastlines pretty straightforward, straight down the coastline, because when the fountains broke up in the trenches, Marianas Trench and the one on the other side, I can't remember the name of, when the waters came up out of that, it pushed the land backwards like this on both sides. And on both sides of the coasts, there are a mountain range inland from that coast, just like the ground crumpled up from being pushed back. That's where those mountain ranges came from. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. And he sent forth a raven which went to and fro until the waters were dried up off all the earth. Now, odd that he chose a raven, which is symbolic for darkness. What other creature in the Bible, in the book of Job specifically, was known to have walked to and fro upon the earth? That would be Satan. Was Satan in the ark? I don't know. God was. Stands to reason. But he didn't stop with a raven. He then sent doves, which are symbolic of the light. And it ascended upon him like a dove, meaning the Holy Spirit. So, first raven, then dove. Also, he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark. For the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Was it a local flood? Not if you consider the words whole earth. Covered all of the earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her in unto him into the ark. That's the dove that he had released came back to him. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. Oddly enough, that raven never came back. And the dove came into him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. But he stayed yet another 7 days. Hey, ATL Auditor, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Yes, it does take a long time for an olive tree to grow and produce branches. Well, he's been in the ark for over a year, so it had time. He sent forth the dove, which returned not again unto him any more, meaning it found a roost and it didn't come back. So it's safe to get off the ark. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried up off the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. Well, dry enough anyway. And in the second month, on the 27th day of the month, was the earth completely dried. I added the word completely, but that's what it means. And God spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth out of the ark, thou and thy wife and thy son and thy sons' wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that was in thee, that is with thee, of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth. This is the second time God has issued that commandment to mankind and to animals as well. And Noah went forth, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, every fowl, and whatsoever creepeth upon the earth, after their kind went forth out of the ark. And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings unto the altar. On the altar. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor, and the Lord said in his heart, I will not curse the ground again any more for man's sake. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more every living thing as I have done. This is a promise from God. He was feeling kind of emotional in that moment. You know, with Noah there, the world has been destroyed. He's looking down, and Noah's making a sweet dinner to him. And he smells the pig or whatever it was. It wasn't a pig because it was clean, but you get what I'm saying. And God says, I'm not going to do this anymore. I've had enough. It's true that man is evil from his birth. There's nothing they can do about that. It's not their fault. I'm not going to destroy them anymore, nor will I destroy the whole earth again as I have done. That is the first covenant of the new world. While the earth remaineth. All right, listen up, all you people who believe in global warming and such things. While the earth remaineth, as long as it is here, as long as there is a planet in the universe called Earth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. You understand? That means forever. As long as this planet is here, it will continue to have seasons and evenings and mornings and cold times and hot times, summer and winter and fall, and all of that. It's going to keep going. Yes, the climate is changing. It always has changed. It always will change. If it changes too much, you will move inland. But it's not going to be drastic to the point that it's going to destroy everything. It won't. It just won't. That's not how the world works. How do I know that? Because of this next line. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. This word replenish means do it again. Fill up the earth again. But there's a cost. You see, before the flood, man and animal lived side by side. Very rarely was there an altercation between man and animal. They were all vegetarian. However, in the New World, with very little scarcity, or very much scarcity and very little to eat, now you have to do what you have to do to survive. Now you have to go out and make the world yours and subdue it. So the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, upon every fowl of the air, and upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea even. Into your hand are they delivered, meaning now they're dinner and they know it. So in order for them to have a fighting chance, they have to be afraid of you now, and they will be. Enoch was there then after the ark, the flood? I'm confused. No. Enoch was taken by God before the flood, meaning he's in heaven right now. His son, Methuselah, lived up until he died, and a week after he died, that was what brought the flood on. It was promised to Enoch that his son would live a full life and God wouldn't destroy the world as long as he was here. The week he died, God started the flood. But Enoch is no longer on this earth at this point. Yes, the descendants of David will eventually outnumber the stars. That is true. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, or food for you, even as the green herb I have given you all things. Does that mean you shouldn't eat pork? Well, you shouldn't eat any scavengers because they clean up the earth. And if you eat all the things that clean up the earth will be filthy. That being said, God himself tells you right here, I have given you all things for food. All things. Not some things, all things. So there goes that. I am sure that Enoch is the only man that did not die. He is only one of two men that did not die, ATL. Elisha also did not die. Elijah walked with God as well. That's correct, though. Enoch walked with God after 300 years. That was just before the flood occurred. It's also a good educated guess. There's nothing to back this up in the Bible, but in Revelations, when the two witnesses come down from heaven and start preaching and consuming people with fire, which I assume is allegory for telling them how it really is, those two witnesses are Enoch and Elijah. That's my educated guess. There is no proof of that because they're not named, but it is appointed to every man to die, and they just haven't died yet, but they're going to in the end times. That's my thoughts on it. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. I missed one. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. Meaning don't eat people. You can have everything on earth to eat, but you can't eat people or anything that I breathed life into. Does that mean animals are not alive? Well, no, it doesn't. But I think some of them are NPCs. I don't think they have the breath of life in them. I think they just function. I don't know. I know plants are not alive in the sense that the Bible refers to life because life is wherein contains the breath of life. And God didn't breathe life into plants. They don't die either. They wither. Every time plants die in the Bible, it says wither, not die, which is a distinction. That's a different thing than dying. So I think maybe animals or some animals may fall under that category as well. This sounds like it. Any flesh that has the life in it, and the life is in the blood, shall ye not eat. Also, don't eat blood. Sucks to be a vampire, I know. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. Means you have to kill your food to eat it. It won't just give up and come to you. You have to kill it with your own hands. And at the hand of man, and at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of a man. You kill your brother, I'm going to require your life for it. Blood covers blood. That's how the sin and the atonement for sin works. Blood is the only thing that covers blood. and your food can't be alive when you eat it, correct? Whosoever sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Pretty common sense. For in the image of God made he man. And you, talking to Noah, be ye fruitful and multiply. This is the third time God has issued this commandment for emphasis. Bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply therein. And God spake unto Noah and his sons with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, meaning your offspring. Now, Abraham comes from this bloodline. So obviously, we're not talking about the promise he made to Abraham. Even before that, he made it to Noah first. So in this way, Noah is the recipient of the covenant, not Abraham. Abraham is a byproduct of that first covenant, which is, I will no longer destroy the earth in your name. And with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. That's my promise. And to make that deal sweet, I'm going to add to the cherry pot. God said, this is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you. For perpetual generations, that means forever. For as long as things reproduce, this covenant will stand. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. Now, there's some people that will say, well, there's been rainbows ever since there's been water. God didn't make rainbows just for mankind. Well, you can argue it this way. Before the flood, it never rained, which means there was never any moisture in the atmosphere, the upper atmosphere. When it dewed, the dew came from beneath the ground upwards to mist the garden, to water all the plants. It didn't come from the sky, it came from the ground, much as dew does today. Now, dew and rain are not the same thing. So, the atmosphere was thicker, and there was a canopy above the earth of water covering the earth, keeping out certain ultraviolet rays. So it could be said that rainbows didn't show up before the flood because you couldn't see them because the proper ingredients for a prism were not here. That's one argument. Another argument is, yes, rainbows have always existed, but God is pointing it out, saying, as long as you see a rainbow, you know that my promise, and from this point forward, I'll see a rainbow and remember my promise, and you'll remember it too. It'll be like a reminder. So it could be that argument. Either way, I don't care. This is not an error in the Bible. This is just God pointing out that he's using a rainbow to signify a promise that he made, however you look at it. But it's not an error. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud, and I will remember my promise, or my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. Now this is saying that God is making this rainbow for his remembrance, not for man's. He's saying, I need a reminder so I don't destroy the world. However you look at it, I like it. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, says God, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. And the sons of Noah that went forth out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. Remember when Abraham goes out of his mama's tent? He basically was a tent dweller. He lived with his mama his whole life. He's basically the ancient equivalent of a basement dweller. He lived with his mama till he was about 80 years old, and then he got the call to adventure and went out. And where he went was to the land of Canaan, which is a very large swath of land. Understand? But those are all descendants of Ham, just so you know. These are the 3 sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. You see, when they left the ark, they went in the 4 cardinal directions. Japheth went over the Caucasus Mountains towards the east. Ham went upwards into Africa. Shem went eastwards towards the oriental areas, and Noah went home, which was down in Egypt, below Africa. So all 4 directions they went, and they went spreading their seed as much as they got busy, is what I'm saying. Old Peleg is one of the people found in archaeology. Peleg was a descendant of one of the 3 brothers, one of his first children. And the land was divided in those days. We'll get to that. And Noah began to be a husbandman, which usually means a man that tends cattle, but in this case it's a man that tends wine vineyards. He planted grapes and that sort of thing. And he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered in his tent. And I want to point this out. And he was uncovered within his tent. Period. 922 is a different sentence, not involving the previous sentence. And what I'm about to tell you, you're going to have to either take my word for it or look it up on your own, but I'm going to tell it to you. There's a large misnomer coming up here. There are places in the Bible that spell it out for you and tell you they use this phrase and then tell you what it means. So you have to go look for it. It's in there. I've read it. I don't recall exactly where it's at, but take my word for it. It's there. Here we go. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the, quote, nakedness of his father, unquote, and went and told his 2 brethren without. What does that mean? He walked in the tent and saw his daddy's ass? These are 4 men that lived in a boat for over a year. You don't think they ever saw each other naked? That's his dad. Of course they've seen each other naked. They probably bathed in the same river. That is not what this statement means. This is a Hebrewism. This is a figure of speech used by people in those days. And what uncovering your father's nakedness means is to have sex with his wife. At the very least, Ham had sex with his mother-in-law. I don't know if that was his mom or a second wife of Noah's. It could have been. It's not clear. He either slept with his mother or his mother-in-law. Either way, Ham had sex with Noah's wife while he was laying there drunk, passed out. That's why he cursed him. It had nothing to do with him seeing him naked. That's ridiculous. Anybody that thinks that ain't paying attention. Now, I know it doesn't say that here, so you're going to question me on it, but trust me on this. I am correct. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backwards and covered the nakedness of their father. Again, these are his sons. You think they have never seen his ass before? This is not about covering up a naked man. They walked backwards into the tent because they didn't want to look at their naked mother, which is a whole different thing, and covered it backwards. And their faces were backwards, and they saw not their father's nakedness. There's the next time they use that phrase 3 times. Why? Because it's a figure of speech, and it means what I said it meant. If you don't believe me, look it up. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. If you said that you knew I saw you naked, would you say you knew what I did or you knew what I saw? Seeing something is not a function. It's not an action. You don't do it. It's just whatever's in your vision, you see it. It's a reaction. You react to the light by seeing it. What did Ham do to Noah? Had sex with his wife. That's what he did. And Noah knew it. Why? Because he saw his wife laying there naked and freshly banged. That's how he knows it. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in tents of Shem. See, even in the old days, China was making the tents. Yeah, he could have bought his tents in America, but Shem makes them cheaper. That's why Japheth had to live in them. But I'm just kidding, folks. But it says it right there. Shem did go to the Oriental areas in China, ultimately. So even in those days, they were buying their tents in China, is all I'm saying. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years, and all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. Now, this line is a signature. These are the generations of. Anytime you see a phrase like that, it is somebody signing off the book they just wrote. Now a new author takes over. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz. This is where the Ashkenazi Jew comes from. Ashkenaz began that bloodline. These are geniuses by birth. They have really big brains, and almost all of them register in the 160 range of the IQ. Ashkenaz is the beginning of the Ashkenazi Jew, so remember that name. Riphath and Togarma. And the sons of Javan were Elisha, and Tarshish, and Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands. These were islanders. They lived in the islands. And every one after his tongue, after their family, in their nations. And the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, and Puth, and Canaan. Canaan goes on to be a very big civilization. And so does Cush, by the way. And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Ramah, and Sabtekach. And the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one in the earth. Now this guy Nimrod is the same man known as Nebuchadnezzar. He became the king of Babylon, and he was party to building the Tower of Babel, and was also Abraham's king for a while, because Abraham came from that area, or lived in that area for a while. And so did Joshua, by the way. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. Or, don't you want to be like Nimrod? He's a mighty hunter. God knows it. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, Sargon of Akkad. There's that place. And Calneh, in the land of Shinar. And out of the land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh. Nineveh is where Jonah ends up after he gets puked up out of the belly of the fish. he goes to Nineveh to preach the word of God, and they repent and follow God. Smart move for Nineveh, because they were about to be destroyed. And the city of Rehoboth and Calah and Rezin, between Nineveh and Calah, the same is a great city. In Mizraim begat Ludim and Anamim and Lehabim and Nephuthim, however you want to say it, and Pathrusim and Casluhim, out of whom came Philistim, which later became Philistine, and Caphtorim. And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and Jebusite. Aha! That's where they came from. I knew I had my eye on you guys. And the Amorite. The Amorites don't fare so well in the later verses. And Girgasite, and the Hivite, and the Arkite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite. And afterwards were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. They made a very large group of people turn into an even larger civilization. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza, and as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah and Zeboam, even to Lasha. And these are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, in their countries and in their nations. And unto Shem also, the father of all children of Eber. Keep this name in mind, Eber. Eber are the people who eventually become the Hebrews later on. The word Eber means those who passed over the Jordan River. That's what it means, and that's who they are. So from Shem comes the Hebrews later on down the road. The brother of Japheth, the elder. Even to him were children born. The children of Shem were Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. And the children of Aram were Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash. And Arphaxad begat Salah, and Salah begat Eber. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg. Peleg is a very important name, even in history. He's been named right up there with the other people that they think they spread out from Africa and went over the that ice bridge over into Canada and down into North America and all that. They're wrong. That's not how they spread. The Bible tells you how they spread, and they spread from Turkey, not from Africa. But Peleg was found, and they did name him, and there he is. So he's a very important fellow for that reason. Look up Peleg in history and see what it says about him. They are somewhat correct. For in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. Joktan reminds me of like the Mongols, like Genghis Khan, and those characters probably came from Joktan's line. I'm just going by the way the name sounds. I have no proof to back that up, but there you have it. And Joktan begat Almadad and Shelef, and Hazaramaveth, and Jerah, and Hadaram, and Uzal, and Diklah, and Obal. Diklah was a Klingon, by the way. Diklah. And Obal, and Abamil, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan. And their dwelling was from Misha, as thou goest over Sephar, a mount of the east. So they lived out towards the east, probably in the very minor Asia Minor areas. And these are the sons of Shem after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. And these are the families of the sons of Noah, after their generations in their nations. And by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. So they broke off big swaths of land and built nations in those areas. And that's why we have the continents we have today with the people on them that are there today. And the whole earth was of one tongue and of one speech. They spoke one language in those days. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there, and they called it Babylon. And these people, they said to one another, Go to, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. That's fired brick. These are the people that left people that were stone builders. All the ancient giant stone monuments came before this. Now, if there ever were a Stone Age, this is the end of it here. Because these people have figured out how to make fired bricks or red brick bats. And they're going to start building with smaller stones now. And they had brick for stone and slime for mortar, or quicklime, not slime, quicklime, which is sandstone ground into powder and then water and sand added back to it with some hay or horsehair or sticks or anything that's fibrous that can give it strength. And then they put it in a mold and put it out in the hot sun and fire it, or put it in a kiln and fire it until it becomes hard. And you can build something like 1,500 stories with red brick before it starts breaking down. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Let us get famous here in this place before we're forgotten about. That's what he's saying. Now, we're about to talk about the building of the Tower of Babel. There are rumors and legends about the building of the Tower of Babel. Thus said, if a man falls off the top of the tower, they won't even lose any sleep. They'll just keep right on working. But if a man drops a brick, everything comes to a halt because it takes so much effort to get that brick up that high. It takes so long that it really does cost the day if somebody drops a brick. They mourn the brick. That's one legend. Another legend is said that when you start at the bottom, it takes a full year to get to the top, working your way up through the, different departments and whatnot, learning as you go. It takes a whole year to get to the top of the Tower of Babel. That being said, let me be the first one to tell you that you cannot physically build a tower to heaven because you'll pass out long before you ever get there for lack of oxygen, or freeze to death, or die of sun radiation. You cannot physically build a tower to heaven, so God had nothing to fear. That being said, I believe what they were doing in that tower was something different. I think they might have had something either technological or spiritual going on inside that tower, and that tower was just a big place that they conducted their business, because it doesn't make any sense that they were physically trying to build a tower to reach heaven like Jack and the Beanstalk style. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that's what the Bible is saying. I believe that that was their imagination that was so grand. And it kind of says that. And the Lord came down to see the tower and the city. He was so impressed by their work that he came down to earth, made a special trip just to view what they were building, which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. Now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. If I don't put a stop to this right now, there's nothing they can't do. Whatever it is they were doing in that tower bothered God enough that he had to stop it. I don't believe it was building a tower up to heaven. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. He not only made it where they couldn't communicate anymore, but he scattered them abroad as well, so they couldn't even come together to build. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower. Oh, I read that. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. It never got finished. Now, was this a real place? Yes, it was. They have found the location of the Tower of Babel in what's modern-day Iraq. And one of the things that Saddam Hussein was doing was collecting brick to restart that project. He was going to finish the Tower of Babel. He even had red bricks with his face on it and Nebuchadnezzar's name on it, rekilned to use in that project. That's one of the reasons he got hung from the neck, by the way. Just so you know. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. These are the generations of Shem. This is another signature signing off. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived after he begat Arphaxad 500 years and begat sons and daughters. And Arphaxad lived 35 years and begat Salah. And Arphaxad lived after he begat Salah 403 years and begat sons and daughters. And Salah lived 30 years and begat Eber. There's that name again, Eber, who become the Hebrews. And Salah lived after he begat Eber 403 years and begat sons and daughters. And Eber lived 34 years and begat Peleg. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years and begat sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and begat Ru. And Peleg lived after he begat Ru 209 years and begat sons and daughters. And Ru lived 32 years and begat Serug. And Ru lived after he begat Serug 207 years and begat sons and daughters. Big family is what I'm saying. And Serug lived 30 years and begat Nahor. And Serug lived after he begat Nahor 200 years and begat sons and daughters. Notice how the numbers are going down here? They aren't quite living as long as the other guys before them. During this time, mankind's lifespan was shortening significantly over this period of time till it reaches about 120 years. And there it stays. And Nahor lived 29 years and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 109 years and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram. Abram becomes Abraham later on down the road. So Terah is Abram's father. Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Now these are the generations of Terah. This is signing off that book. Now a new author begins. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran, or Haran. And Haran begat Lot, who was Abram's cousin, or nephew, one or the other, I can't remember which. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai. The name of Nahor's wife was Milcah. The daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. But Sarai was barren, and she had no children. This was by design, only she didn't know it and didn't appreciate it very much. But God had a plan, see. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot, the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife. And they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran and dwelt there. Haran was not only a man, but it was a place in Canaan. Probably the city was named after him. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. And that's where we're going to stop for today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to pick up next Sunday at 12:01 and find out what happens in Canaan with Abram. This is the beginning of the story of Abram, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you like it. I hope it touched your heart. I hope you found something wonderful in this book. And I hope, above all, that it makes you question the Bible and go back and read and find out, explore, expand upon what you know. Write some stuff down and draw some lines, get some of that red thread and put it all over the place with thumbtacks and newspaper clippings and find out what's going on. Won't you do me a favor while you're doing all of that? Hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be online and when my new videos drop all over the world. Hit that like button. It's free. It's right in front of you. It's effortless. It really does help the channel with the algorithms, and it helps us get recommended to other people. Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into the family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave comments down below and let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform me, drink my Kool-Aid. Make your own Kool-Aid. As long as you're thinking critically, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you love the Word of God and you can see the value in what I'm trying to create, or if you feel led to send your tithes, offerings, or love offerings, or you like to just support the channel, you can do that by going to paypal.me/jakejohnsonband, or if you use CashApp, you can go to $jakejohnsonband. Every little bit helps. It's a win-win. It's a blessing for me. It's a blessing for you too. God does notice these things, and I will do everything in my power to show my gratefulness and be worthy of that support. And with that, I will take your questions and comments as we round out this video for the evening. How was that? Did you like it? Did you learn anything? Did you love it? Did you lump it? Do you feel like your brain has turned to mayonnaise? Let me know what's on your mind. Do you have any questions, comments, criticisms, catharses, whatever it is? Lay it on me, baby. And I will endeavor to answer. And by you asking questions, you may inadvertently ask a question that the whole world has been wanting to know the answer to, and when I answer it, you will have been party to providing a service for the whole world. What's up, Robert? Good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the show. Have you enjoyed yourself, sir? Glad you could drop by. I had a good time. April? ATL? Any questions? Robert? Surely you can muster up one or two. Don't leave me hanging. This is, after all, a Q&A. Yes, I've been busy with classes. Well, you're getting smarter every day. That's a good thing. I'm proud of you. Keep it up. As long as you're not going to any classes that end in the word studies, you're good. If you are, I'm sorry you've wasted your money. Like my fish? I got a skeletal fish on my microphone. I had to do something for Halloween, and I'm not really into jack-o'-lanterns, so fish it was. Very interesting. If you're joining us on YouTube, rest assured, you don't have to watch us on YouTube. If you'd like to just listen to the audio version of this podcast, you can download it anywhere podcasts are downloadable. That includes iTunes, Google Podcasts, Amazon Prime, Audible.com, and anywhere else. Spotify. Spotify offers videos, so you can watch it there too if you'd like. If you don't dig the YouTube thing, you can go over there. But it's there, so just type in Untethered Live into the search engine and you will find us. I don't really have a question, but I'd stop by to see you anyway. Well, that's fine. As long as you're here, that's all that matters. If you happen to come up with a question, though, I have an answer for it. Or if not, I'll die trying, one or the other. April, are you and Kevin still with me? Darlene, 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 Darlene. Won't you wake up and type something if you can? Yes, well, glad you stopped by. Well, bye-bye now. Huh? Who are you talking to? I'm not sure about the guy having sex with his mother. Oh, trust me, that's correct. Or stepmother. Have to learn more about that. Was always taught that he saw his dad naked. Yeah, everybody teaches that, but it's incorrect. And I'll tell you how I know, because I found it in the Bible, and I'll find it again, and I'll point it out when I do find it. But you can just type in that phrase into Google, uncover thy father's nakedness, and you will soon find the meaning of that phrase, and it is to sleep with his wife. What's up, 3-year-old scholar? What's happening? Mr. Religion, 3-year-old scholar, how you doing? Glad you could come by. Anyway, I know that it's controversial, but it is correct. I am correct in this matter. And when you find out that I'm correct, you'll learn to trust me later when I say things that seem outlandish at first. But I'm glad you picked up on that, because that is a thing that many people are taught every day, and it is incorrect. April says, I love the read tonight, Jake. Bravo. Thank you, dear. I appreciate you. Got something going on here. This is Pat from the NAACP. Black voters are a political force, and we're looking for you to volunteer. Can you join the movement? Reply yes. I'm not black. Why is Bubby Watts being unholy? He hadn't said anything incorrect. And no, I won't tell him off. Don't come in here starting trouble now. I'll have to get you, and you won't like it. Janelle Hennington, will you volunteer? Jamel, nice to see you. Welcome to the show. Glad you could stop by. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'm glad you're here. Clearly, this phone belonged to someone before it belonged to me, because I get lots and lots of texts and phone calls for other people. I'm just here to say hi. Hi. I'm enjoying retirement. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're retired. I'm glad you made it that far. I hope you make it the rest of the way. I'm a big fan, Jake. Thank you, sir. I'm a big fan of yours, too. I ain't gonna let nobody give you no shit about your ponytail. Don't worry. Thank you, thank you. You're welcome. But, yeah, retirement is a thing most of us only dream about. If you've made it that far, you have done something. I don't plan on making it past 50 myself, but who knows what the Lord has in store. I'm taking a break from my economics study. Are you now? What are you studying in economics? And is it economical? Man, it's tough being the smartest 3-year-old in my college. Just per se, you got any questions about the Bible there, 3-year-old? Specifically the books we read tonight? The Democrats, to be specific. Oh, well, you got your hands full then. Some of those people have gone slap-ass crazy. Oh, yeah, do you do the religion often? I don't ever do the religion. This is not a religious channel. If you paid attention tonight, you heard me read and then explain, but you did not hear me try and convert anybody or tell you that my way is the only way to think. All I'm doing is examining the document and trying to understand why it's there. Excuse my English, it's the 3-year-old in me. I hear you. But no, I'm not religious at all. I think religion is foolish, personally. You know who else thought that? Jesus Christ. Funny, you guys. I'm glad y'all came in to say hi. Amen, says April. Much love. Oh, okay, I figured. You figured right. I know that trips a lot of people up because they're expecting me to be all Bible thumpery and all that. Not this guy. I'm just trying to learn, just like you are. Such fools, those mortals. Most of them are. That includes me. I'm just a man like everybody else is. I love doing the religion. You do you, brother. You won't hear no judgment from me. That's your thing? Have fun. Knock yourself out. I try to teach a more enlightened way of looking at things. One that recognizes that all religions are one man's opinion of the truth, or one man's idea of what the truth should be, lean towards. But the truth is all encompassing. All religions smashed together is closer to the reality of truth than one religion in particular. I have my own teachings. Good. That's a blessing for sure, religion. Yes, it is. I'm Mr. Religion to all, but respectful to most. Okay? Welcome, by the way. Good to see you, says April. April is quite the cheerleader, is she not? I chose wisely. I'm glad to be here myself. I'm glad to have that behind me now. This is the second time I've read this book because the first time I had an echo I couldn't get rid of. I'll be comfortable in sending this video out to all the locations. Wonderful. Have any of you done it yet? Have any of you went to Spotify or iTunes and typed in Untethered Live just to see if it pops up? It will. Big juicy steak. I'm a steak. Man, you must not be able to get nothing done on your computer. It's full of profiles. And I have none myself. I believe in God and Jesus. Amen. Amen. None meaning no religions. Yes, this is Untethered Live. My denomination is Untethered. If you hang with me, you are untethered from a religion. I've always found that to be the best way to be. I'm atheist because I'm a bag of chips. You also really need something to do. How about I give you a little homework, keep you busy for a while? You really have a lot of time on your hands. How about this? Go read Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. And next Sunday, report back to me and tell me what you think of that verse and what it means to you. Do that. That's Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. I love eating chips and dip, LOL, says April. You're embarrassing me, kid. Slow down. People watching. Got to keep up my GPA. Sorry, I have to do my economics homework. Well, I was talking to a bag of chips. I don't know what you're on about. And the plot thickens. Lesson. We're trying to actually do something good here. How about join us instead of disrupting us? How about listen, learn something? You might be impressed. You might find a whole new calling in life. As many profiles as you have, think of the good you could do for a channel like this, spreading the word rather than condemning it. Think of what you could accomplish with all your talent. Think of the work you could achieve. Willie B. Hardington says, I'm moved, Jake. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I am too, mostly. You have changed my life. Well, I didn't do it. I just read. If your life is changing, that's all you, buddy. And God has a way of doing that to people. So take pride in it and move forward and see where it takes you. I'll be right here as long as you need it. Don't forget, says April, you at least hit that like button. The thumbs up button really does help. Thanks for coming and sharing your beautiful thoughts and comments. Much love. God bless you, says April. Shout out to this good guy or God guy. Thank you, sir. I'm grateful. Please continue to watch, and you may come across some things you didn't know, or confirm things you did know. It has been quite the lovely day. I'd like to thank all of you guys for hanging out with me and being part of the show and making it such a good time. You're always on point with your thoughts and criticisms and comments and clarifications, and I'm grateful and proud to be part of it. I hope that you all come back every week, Sunday and Monday night for Bible study, and Wednesday and Friday night for just hanging out and having a good time, and whatever goes, goes. And catch me on Sasquatch's channel when I appear there occasionally, and other people's channels, and them appearing here occasionally, as we did last week. And lots of good things to come for this podcast. Until Wednesday night, have a great night. Thank you so much for being here. I love each and every one of you. True, I do. God bless you all. Won't you do me a favor when you go out into the world tomorrow? Be nice to somebody. Just go out of your way to do something nice for somebody. It doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter what. Doesn't matter how much involvement it is, as long as it is pleasant and it is directed at another human being. You do that and watch it change your life from the inside out. I promise you it will. Not only will it change your life, but when you let your inner light shine, everyone around you will want to become part of that. They'll see it and they'll be jealous and they'll want to be having what you have. So you do that. You go out and be nice to somebody tomorrow and watch. Come back and tell me how it worked for you. I promise it'll open doors that you never thought would open. Have a great night. I love you all. God bless you. Peace be with you. Until Wednesday. Thanks for watching.